Proper vibe. Alright, thank you for checking out this video. Wasn't planning on doing another one so soon. And this isn't like the part 2. I've not got any more of the bits that I'm waiting for yet to finish this, and I'm not going to paint it yet. Still using the placeholder optic, still using the placeholder light, still not got the OpSync collar quite sorted yet. But there was just a couple of things in the last video that when I was editing it, they just bothered me more. And that so I just wanted to revisit those in this one. So this is just a bit of a revisit video on the sort of barrel area setup. So yeah, just going to go back through a couple of those bits and try and correct them now that I've had a bit of time to sort of think about what might be going on. Specifically with the handguards not closing correctly because they're too tight. Beans disagrees for some reason. Beans, what do you reckon, Beans? What should I do after that? And then what? Yeah, so I've lost track of what I was saying. But yeah, so we're gonna I'm just gonna try and correct those issues. So we've got the handguards sort of bowing and not closing because they're too tight since we put the shorter barrel on. And then if you remember as well, the inner barrel was actually kind of the inner barrel was a little bit, it had a little bit of play inside the outer barrel, so I wanted to not completely redo what we did last time, but I'm going to strip it down again, and we're going to I know I say we all the time when it's me doing it, but I feel like you're in it for the ride, you know. So we're just going to strip the barrel apart again and try and put it together a bit more betterly. For whoever's interested, I got asked in the last one how the flashlight mount was done, and these cheapo Amazon ones are too wide to get through the gap underneath the gas tube portion of the triangle front sight here and the barrel. They're too kind of wide to go through there. What Beans? You can kind of like cut them down and to fit them, but maybe I think he just wants to be involved, to be honest. But that's a lot of effort, you know, cutting those down. So I think what I've done is just used half the clamp, and this is enough. Like, that is solid, it's not going anywhere. It's just clamped on this one side, and then this side's just left open. It goes over the gas portion, the gas port portion, and that's perfectly fine. I have found another solution that's like a Surefire M58 or something. I don't know, I found a picture of it. I found it on AliExpress for like 38 quid. That's still a bit too much money than I want to spend on a flashlight mount, but yeah, no, this is how I'm doing it for now. For anyone interested, I will post up a picture of that AliExpress one for anyone that's interested. It does look pretty cool, to be fair. It's not a pick rail thing, it's literally just like a circular mount that goes around the barrel, and then a scope ring style mount for the flashlight like this. Pretty cool. So that just comes off like that. Now I'm going to punch these pins out, but I'm going to do it off camera probably. So yeah, punch the pins out off camera just because it's a bit quicker. I've done it all before, so yeah. See, if it wasn't for the handguards, if it wasn't for the handguards being so wonk, I'd not bother. I'd just take the handguards off and remove this part of the barrel, like I did in the M16 video, or tried to. But because the handguards are wonk, it's easier to just pull the front off, in theory. God damn it. It's quite funny without a front sight and shit. at this point the finish getting scratched is out the window. Unfortunately, oh well, I just I'm past that point now. I'm gonna paint it, so it's not the end of the world. I may also, as we've not got the bits yet properly sorted for the actual build I'm doing, I might take some creative liberties and throw this on. It's likely that the first game I'll use this in is a CQB game, so I'll probably keep it nice and short with the EOTech up nice and high. Right. Next bit. Let's get the mag out, shall we? That'll be good. The stock is much more comfortable on my nuts right now than the buffer tube. One big love tap. Right. So for the handguards, I think maybe I need to get this delta ring on a little bit tighter. So I'm going to give that a go. I think maybe that'll give it like that extra millimeter it needs. However, inner barrel wise, it is quite annoying that the hop adjuster wheel always gets stuck in here, to be honest. Barrel really greasy. I don't get why. Why would you grease the barrel? There we go. Right, so we've got a little O-ring there that applies pressure onto the hop adjuster wheel when it's in the barrel. But I want to shim the barrel a little bit. Realised recently, if you're shimming a barrel like this, you don't need to wrap it round the barrel like that way. You just need strips on the edges, and it doesn't need to be all in the same spot, as long as you've got some covering sort of every angle of the barrel. It's fine. It will stay seated, and that, because of how wide this tape is, that only requires two really on the opposite sides, and it doesn't really matter where they are. It should help stabilize it. So we've got, make sure that feels a little bit better. You don't want to put too much on and not be able to get your barrel on. So, out of the way. Okay. That's actually fixed it. That's not moving at all. Cool, amazing, easy. Right. So that's problem one that I had sorted. Hopefully. Also, the third issue was that it was absolutely caked inside in that horrible, thick, sticky grease. So we're gonna give it a proper clean. I'm gonna put this on. I do want to try and tighten it more than what it was. So yeah, ideally we want that notch there to be centered. Might have to do this off camera again, sorry. It's nearly there. It might be enough to get the tube through. Okay, I think we might have got it on regardless. We just, yeah, cool. Carry on, let's just check if it's aligned. Pretty good, right. So let's see if that's made any kind of difference to the hand guards going on situation. Just that extra bit round, see if that's giving it the ass it needs, the space it needs. It's quite hard to tell right now, but we will see. Let's get our screwdriver. God, I should really put the stock on. Right now the buffer tube is just going straight into my crotch. This is still a huge bitch to get on and off. I don't get it. There we go. That's one half on. Of course, with these like little metal heat shields in here as well, they're sort of bending and popping out now as the handguard bends. So that is another annoying problem. Right. No. So it's not helped. That's not helped the handguard situation, really. It's annoying. They just seem kind of twisted, you know what I mean? And bowed. I don't know what it is. Maybe just a micro difference in where the delta ring and the sight post stuff sits on this, and maybe the solution is to actually customize, modify the ones I'm going to paint a little bit. Maybe I need to modify those. Okay, well, at least we know. Right, so pop that back on. I'm going to run it with the short flash hider at the moment, not that one. I have the one here that we put back on the original, and you know what, I'm going to take my bushing as well, because that one is a little bit pissed up, so that with the pissed up flash hider can go in the parts pile for now until I have a home for this barrel, I guess. And then this one can go on the new barrel. Let's get the cat hair off of it first. We can have that on there, back where it belongs. I do want to sort of have a look, a re-look at the option I had for the moderator. So if you watched the last video, I took this weird flash hider that I had lying around that has holes in it and covered up the holes with tape, and it looked crap. It did not look good at all. I don't know, like if we could just chunk it up a bit more so that it really adds a bit more, because when I actually watched it back when I was editing the video, it didn't actually look that bad. I think maybe if I use it for its threaded barrel capability and maybe put a thicker tube around it to chunk it up a bit, maybe it would sort of start to look the part. But I don't want to chunk it up too much. I don't want it to be like a suppressor. It's got to look like a moderator still. So, but yeah, let's kit it back out a little bit for, I don't know, it's a CQB game or something. There's a CQB site I want to go try out at some point quite soon, hopefully. So nice and stubby. Get the EOTech on there. Let's clear some space a little bit. Already that's a vibe. Look at that stuff. That's cool. Side picture. The handguards are pissing me off, I'm not gonna lie. I might see if the other ones are a little better. Don't know. I do really like it this short. It does remind me of the Heat 723. And you know what, like the 723 in its stages of throughout the sort of 90s cult developments in history and stuff, the 723s were found to have, you know, the C7 upper with the A1 carry handle and the brass deflector, as well as later ones having the A2 carry handle. And in Black Hawk Down, that's basically what it is. Black Hawk Down does also have, you know, 14.5 inch 727s in there as well. So if I kept it as it is, I still could have done a Black Hawk Down build. But I think having the ability to switch between the Blood Diamond carbine and the Black Hawk Down vibe is just a bit more cool to me. It's like two birds with one gun. Right, I'm going to try those other handguards on there, and then we'll get the flashlight back on. Cool. So we've got a cheap plain Jane handguards with no heat shield. Maybe these will play ball a bit more. Just going to re-tape off the screwdriver. I just want to see if these other ones go on and don't warp and are able to sort of lock in together. Because these other ones are slightly different. See, one side of each has a hump and a ridge that are supposed to lock into each other to really close them. On the MWS, you know, they do that, it works quite well, but I mean, that's a good sign. They went on without me having to use the screwdriver. So maybe we're onto a winner, and these are now the handguards for this rifle. This one might be slightly harder with the other one on. So boom, look at that. Oh, and they've locked in, not perfectly, but much better than they did the other day. So, all right, there we go. That's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. Cool. All right, so the thing we want to do right now is clean it. I did put beans on the table, so there is quite a bit of cat hair on the table, so it's gonna need to be quite carefully done. I have also just put the microfiber cloth on the table with all the cat hair, so I'm gonna have to sort of remove cat hair as we go. But I'm just gonna maybe use the tape to rest this on so it doesn't touch the table. Get the bolt out, and you can see all this like really thick sticky grease, and it is sticky to touch. I just want to get rid of all of that because it's so unnecessary. While we got this off, I just wanted to see if my bolt screws are removable, because if they are, I can take out the restrictor. Now VFC have redesigned this bolt carrier on their new Knight's Armament with the L403, whatever the new British Army Special Forces rifle is that they've gone and done a replica of. It looks very cool, sort of like a version 3.5 AR, where they've just, you know, listened to people's complaints with the system and actually done something about it, which is kind of respectable, you know. That might be it. So yeah, they've redesigned this bolt, and now you can get the you can actually remove. No, that's not going. Yeah, you can remove the nozzle without taking these screws out. The cam track that you can sort of see there is actually a cut out cam track, so you can move this piece back and then bring it back to the side and pull it out, and you don't actually need to remove the gas key to do any of that. So that's pretty cool. I'm just going to keep this bolt as it is for now. I do have an M-Pass bolt that I'll just throw in when I actually want to game it, but if those new bolts are cross compatible, I might invest in a few for my VFCs. Alright, and then I do want to clean it inside as well. Let's get all that shit off. And the charging handle too, because that's covered in the stuff. Alright. Can't find my actual grease, so I'm just gonna, this is a bit of a do-all, this Jaeger lube. It's really good. I think it's vegetable based, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just applies like a thin layer, you know, which is what you want. I do tend to like lather the bolt carrier a little bit, which is probably a bit unnecessary. Really, you just want to make sure your contact points are done. And then you're basically good to go. Oh, I didn't clean this off, but we'll just sort of mix in this thinner lube and spread it around. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Should have cleaned off the nozzle really. All right. Down in here, just again on all these contact points. That thick grease is probably already in the buffer tube, but I can't bother with that right now. So where's my lid? Leave it like that for now. Yeah, the full auto on these absolutely sucks with that FPS restrictor. I've also probably not got much gas in this, but I don't know. The FPS restrictors. Alright. So I did it also, I had someone on my last video mention about steel barrels, right? And buy the VFC one, basically. But you just buy a VFC steel barrel, don't spend loads of money on the aftermarket ones. You're getting a steel barrel, like, you don't need to spend like 120 quid on an outer barrel. You can spend 30 quid on a VFC one on like ProAct store, where I got mine from, and it's the same. Like, it's a steel barrel. Yeah, the Z Parts one, I'm not sure how much that is, and the Angry Gun ones, I know they're usually like quite a bit more expensive. Like, just get the VFC 30 quid one and you're fine. There's my flashlight, knuckle it on, knuckle it off. Just a cheap shitty flashlight, like, it's just so I don't fall over when I'm dead in CQB. And yeah, let's give it a look on the table. Hell yeah, vibe, proper vibe. Look at that. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool, little nifty, little nimble. Right. I think I am gonna, for now, keep the A2 flash hider on there, but let's have another play with this. Maybe I was a bit too harsh on it before. I don't know, it still looks crap. I don't know, it's not too bad, I suppose. It's a placeholder. It's a placeholder. I don't think it's too long, which is... I don't actually think it's too long. I think it just needs to be chonkier. So maybe I'll measure the diameter and just get a bit of like tubing and stick that over it and be sort of done with it. But yeah, it's looking cool though. I'm liking it. For now, let's get the little A2 back on there. And I think I'll continue working on this as a moderator, because I've got it sat around and it's doing nothing else anyway. It's not going on anything. So I may as well build that into my moderator as planned. Have I got enough room to tighten this down now? Just. Awesome. There we go. That'll do for today. I'm glad I got the barrel stabilized. The handguards are ever so slightly better. And yeah, all in all, hopefully the bits I need will arrive soon and I can complete this build and start painting it, because that's what we all want to see. Thank you for checking out this video. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you very much, you're the best. Check out the links in the pinned comment in the description for my merch store and my buy me a coffee page where you can support the channel if you feel like supporting it in that way. Otherwise, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you receive a notification every time I upload a new video. Thank you for checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.